Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Now, full disclosure right from the get-go here, I am an atheist. And I think the world would be a whole lot better place if there were more atheists and fewer theists. But even though the number of atheists and non-religious people is increasing, that increase is very slow. And there are a lot more religious people than there are non-religious people. And since their numbers are only declining slowly, obviously they're going to be here with us for a long time. So, what needs to be done to make religion less harmful and maybe even a little bit more useful to people? In short, I think religion needs rehab. So, the first thing that they ought to do is rewrite the holy books. First, they should sort out the stuff that is obviously children's stories and put it all together in a chapter called Children's Stories. So you would have the Garden of Eden and Jonah and the whale and the creation, various other stories like that that are meant to either entertain, amuse, frighten, or educate children, but are really not meant to be believed by modern day adults. So they could all be put in a chapter and clearly labeled, this is a children's story. It's not to be taken seriously by adults. Second thing that religion should do in rewriting the holy books, their holy books, is sort out the good stuff from the bad stuff. There are some things that religion has recommended that are pretty good. Things like loving your neighbor, helping the poor, doing good deeds. That should all be sorted out in a chapter or in a series of chapters that is clearly labeled, this is the good stuff, this is the things that people should do. And then there should be other chapters that are clearly labeled bad stuff. And this is the stuff to stay away from. All that stuff about like putting people to death for blasphemy, beating your wife, raping your slaves, all of those things should be in a chapter clearly labeled bad stuff, not relevant anymore, don't do that shit. That would be a big step in rehabilitating religion. Then the next thing that they should do is to rethink their concept of sin. Sin should only be stuff that is harmful to people. There's a lot of stuff that is labeled as sinful that is, well, to put it bluntly, kind of ridiculous. And all religions have it. Like, for example, in Islam, a woman showing her face is considered to be sinful. Where's the harm in that? It does no damage to look upon a woman's face. As a matter of fact, it does a lot of good. There is a lot of great poetry and great art that is inspired by women's faces. It's stupid to hide them. And it's really idiotic to consider it sinful for a woman to show her face. Shaving off your beard. Now, I've got a beard. I think beards are cool, but I don't think people should be required to grow them. And I think that by saying that these are the things that God wants, the people that do that make themselves look stupid, and their gods look petty and tyrannical and idiotic. And all kind of religions have all kinds of different stuff. That's, dietary restrictions. Why would a God be interested in what you eat? If God created that pig and made it so juicy and delicious, Why would he say don't eat it? It doesn't make any sense. And to make that sinful, it can be arbitrary. Some people want to be vegetarians. Some people want to be vegans. Some people are pescatarians. But if you want to have a little crab on the half shell, oyster on the half shell, it shouldn't be sinful. Once again, makes the people that believe that look stupid, and makes God look all petty and ridiculous. And the thing about having that, well, before I get into that, let me point something out. The Catholic Church, now I don't know about other churches, I'm sure they do similar stuff, but I know that the Catholic Church, because I was raised a Catholic, in addition to having the Ten Commandments, they have what are called the commandments of the church. And check this out. One of the commandments of the church is that you should contribute to the support of the church. So they make donating to the church mandatory. It's a sin if you don't give them money. Now that just shows how ridiculous and greedy the Catholic Church is. There shouldn't be any requirement that you give them money. That's really weighing the deck in a way that doesn't need it. They should earn their money. If they do good works, people should donate to them. But just giving money so some preacher can live good and have a nice car, that's pretty stupid. And the problem with having these arbitrary rules is this. A lot of people who are religious, who are deeply devoted to their religion, can't tell the difference between good and evil because their guidelines are just arbitrary. If growing your beard is as evil as murdering a child, then it gets confusing as to what good and evil is. So you have, for example, Islamists who would not think at all, wouldn't even dream of shaving off their beard, but think nothing of blowing up women and children and cutting off people's heads. It's because they can't tell the difference between good and evil, because their religion does not clearly define it. And that's true of all kinds of religions. It's not just Islam. Christianity is guilty of the same thing. One reason why you had the Catholic Church scandal is because for priests, any sex is sinful. So therefore, it was no more evil to rape a child than it would be to have consensual sex with a woman. This is a problem with religion that they should come to grips with, is that they are confusing their followers as to what good and evil is. And they should take a deep think, do some reflection, which they're so fond of talking about, and think about the nature of good and evil, and redefine sin so that sin is only stuff that is harmful to others. Now, I really doubt that religion is going to pay any attention to me, that they're all going to sit up and say, oh, that Honest John, he's got a good idea. So I don't hold out any false hope that I'm going to lead the way in this. But if religion doesn't do this, if these churches don't do that, if their followers continue to do these evil things because they can't tell the difference, then hopefully that will speed up the process of people becoming turned off with religion and deciding that they're no longer going to follow it. And pretty soon, and someday, eventually, maybe that will hasten the process of religion disappearing from the face of the earth, and we'll all be a lot better off for it. Thanks for listening.